Good evening. My name is Nigel Chambers. I'm from Big Gold Belt Media. I got to tell you, it's a complete honor to talk to you today, the legendary C. Thomas Howell, about your new film, Ride, coming to theaters June 14th. How you doing today, sir?
Thanks for having me here, my friend.
Listen, I gotta give credit where credit is due. Listen, you have one of the most impressive resumes of all time, and you just been in this business for so long. You've given so much to this business in iconic films, television shows, and obviously roles. And you just haven't missed a step because here we are in 2024, and I feel you may have delivered your best performance yet. I want to start off by asking what this keeps you going at a high rate.
Ah, I love doing it. I love doing it. I've never lost the passion. I've never felt jaded. I've never felt that this business owes me anything. And every time I accept a project, um, no matter the budget size, no matter the who's involved, whether it's Steven Spielberg or somebody's first time, I give my all. And that just comes from the way that I was raised. And I really love acting, meeting the people that I meet when I go from project to project, traveling around the world, and learning so much from every experience that I have filmed. And I take what I have learned and move on to the next one and try to apply and become a better person, a better artist, and continue to grow. And that's really my goal. It's a spiritual journey.
Mm, that's powerful. That will absolutely be clipped for the world to hear. You're no stranger to the rodeo, so what is it like to be back home for this film?
Well, first of all, I had two reactions. One, I was so excited to be reading something that represented my background and where I came from. And then I experienced utter fear and I went into total denial because I didn't want to be a part of something that was going to be presented to the cowboy culture and the rural environment that wasn't authentic.
Yeah,
And it's tough thing to do, especially Hollywood. Hollywood will put a cowboy hat on somebody and prop them up on a wooden fence, and there they are. That's their cowboy. And for me, I really wanted to be embraced by the cowboy community, and that was something that when I started speaking with our director and writer Jake Allen, who also plays
yeah,
my son in the picture, um, I realized that was his goal as well. And he started surrounding me with people like Forey J. Smith, who plays Lloyd from Yellowstone. And he's a professional cowboy, rode bareback horses and bulls his whole life. And he's a fine actor and a fine man. And of course, Annabeth Gish, who's just a superstar. And I
yeah.
started to realize that even though this was a smaller production, we only had 18 days to shoot it and a handful of quarters to get it done. But
Hmm.
everybody came together very quickly and bonded and had the same goal. We wanted to make an authentic piece about three generations of bull riders struggling in today's society to get
Yeah,
by and raise a family, who are dealing with illnesses and addictions, marriage issues,
yeah,
self-worth and self-value issues. And one of the things that I look for when I'm working is I really like playing flawed characters. I find a broken character and inject them with humanity, and hopefully, by the end of the piece, you're rooting for them and you love them. And
yeah.
John Hawkins fit that bill for me. So I was really proud of the way that this production came together, and um, I was able to write the title song and perform it with Zia Carlock, who plays my daughter, and her daddy, the great Keith Carlock, who drums for Steely Dan, played the drums for me. And that was another aspect of the film that I wasn't anticipating or expecting, and just was super pleased to be able to um, uh, share that moment and have it be a
Yeah.
part of the movie.
Listen, I'm glad you bring that up because while it is a fantastic film, yeah, you're right. This soundtrack, you don't
Isn't
usually
the
get this
music
one-two
good?
punch. Amazing. You don't usually get this one-two punch on an independent film, and why this is Jake's directorial debut. We all know with all the things that the Allen family has accomplished, and it just makes sense that this will be a success. And yeah, when you're talking about the music, as you mentioned too, I talked to Jake earlier, and I was like, dude, like a lot of people don't come out the gates swinging and hitting their home runs, and here you are. And with the folks involved with the music with this, yeah, this is it. This is definitely
I'm
it.
glad you recognize that because, you know, as an actor, I'm only one small instrument in the orchestra. And of
Hmm.
course, as you know, filmmaking is the ultimate team sport. And we're
Yeah,
only as strong as our weakest link. And, you know, you can have one bad performance, the effects can be bad, the
yeah,
music can be bad, the cinematography can be bad. And it doesn't really matter how great you are.
yeah,
If you don't have that support all the way around, it will show.
yep.
And our movie, uh, again, we had 18 days to shoot it in a handful of quarters. And I am so impressed with how everybody came together and everybody, whether it's the soundtrack, the cinematography, the
Hmm.
writing, the direction, the performances. I'm so proud of everybody's effort. They just was top notch, and that's a rare experience for any budgeted film.
And if it's one person that know, absolutely be you. And definitely a shout out to those who ride with Giants and Bones Owens. Just collectively, everybody come together, giving an amazing soundtrack. I have to ask you, C. Tom, as a man with kids, how do you relate with the character John? Who John is a pulverizing figure. I think he's respected. He has honor. But there's one thing about him. He loves his family. He's going to do whatever he can to be there. And in this case, do what he needs to do for his daughter. I don't want to give too much of the elements away. And then
Well, that's
and Oh, and I was just going to say quickly, and considering his wife, which I just want to say you and Annabeth's chemistry, man,
She's a
considering the
fine
opposite
actor.
sides of the world there, and even that
Yeah.
he's willing to challenge as well. Just talk about stepping into the character, John, how you relate to him.
Well, that's the thing that, as I said a little bit earlier, John's a broken man. He gave up his dreams to raise a family. He's in a marriage that's also struggling. His daughter has cancer, and his son carries a heavy addiction.
Yeah.
So, just one of those aspects is enough to break somebody. Here's a guy that's dealing with his own self-worth, his lack of self-value, and he's trying to hold his family together. And there's a saying that most cowboys understand: when the chips are down, you cowboy up. And that's
Mm,
what that's what John Hawkins does. He doesn't quit, and he's ready to fight. He's ready to fight for um, uh, his son. He's ready to fight for his daughter, and he's ready to fight to save his marriage. And he's given up his own dreams to achieve that. And there's something about um, the cowboy culture and ranch life and the rural community that really um, holds the family values so high. You know, the world now is filled with so many quitters. People like my grandparents were married for 60 years.
mm.
My father's been married for 50 years. There's something about um, commitment that a lot of younger people don't value anymore. And I think egos get involved, and people are quick to quit because somebody made a mistake, or something, the hand was dealt
Yeah.
um, that you didn't necessarily agree with or plan for. But life is hard, relationships are hard, and that's really what I loved about this script. um, I really look for playing. I look for a flawed character that gives me the opportunity to go up against a stacked deck, inject that character with humanity, and against all odds, you start to root for them. And
Yeah.
that to me is what John Hawkins represents.
I hate to put you on the spot here, man. I'm loving the Hawkins family. And I said this to the director earlier, Jake. Would you sign on for a sequel here? I told him I need you to get back to work. I need so much
Somebody
more
else
from this
asked us
family.
that. Somebody else asked that. It was funny. Of course, the quick answer would be yes. I'd love to do a series, right?
Yes.
But the 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 long answer would be, in all honesty, I feel like we gave it our all on this.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
did.
don't know where we would go from here. But the characters are well defined. The writing was just superb, and of course, I would sign up for ride two, call it ridden. I don't know, but but we have a fine group of people that I really have grown super close with too, and I would love to work with them again.
Yeah. I just it's just, as a viewer, I just felt so much with these characters, and learned so much from these characters. And then also getting the glimpse into Stephenville, Texas, the cowboy culture. Like there's just so much more that I could just think of where the story can go. And obviously this film leaves us with some questions of our own. One question I did want to ask, I know Annabeth couldn't make it to the interview today. I wanted to ask, there was a particular scene where we see John, talking to a gentleman at the desk. They're going over the finances for the daughter's treatment. Monica is making coffee and she zones out. And I
It's
wasn't sure, was this a measure of self-harming or was her mentally just clocking out? Could you talk about that moment and what did
That's
that
an
mean for
interesting
Monica?
moment that you bring up because you're talking about a moment where we're at a hospital. I'm on the phone trying to work out some finances, and she's at this coffee table and intentionally pours some hot coffee on her hand. Not to give it away, spoiler alert. But um, I even went to the writers, Jake, and asked what the intention was there. And I think um, there comes a time when you're so overwhelmed by your
Mm,
own responsibilities that you sort of numb out. And I
mm.
think that her daughter was in pain. She's in pain. Her husband's in pain. Her stepson is in pain. And she just wanted to feel it in that moment a little more. And that's the way I took it and understood it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Because there's a
Thanks for the
metaphor
answer
there
there.
that is unexplainable. And I love that about film and art. That it's sort of, you got to read between the lines. And that metaphor, her pouring that coffee on her hand, that hot coffee, means so much. But what exactly does it mean?
Mm.
That's the question.
This is C. Davis. Thank you so much for the time today. It's been a complete honor to talk to you. And the way how I know you never stop working, I know we'll be talking again very soon, whether it's a sequel or whether it's another project. But nonetheless, I appreciate the time today. Folks, you can check out Ride coming to theaters June 14th. It's been an honor.
Thank you so much, my friend. It was a real pleasure talking with you, and we'll do it again soon.
My man, I appreciate it. Thank you.